So we're going to do something slightly different because it is Christmas Day. I'd like to share with you a tradition that I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, family over here, I think this tradition started with my grandparents. They would read a story to their children after the Christmas Eve service. We always called it the story. And so that story got shared with, that generation. That generation, which is my mom and Kim and everybody, then they started doing it with their families. So every Christmas Eve, we would come home and drink eggnog and listen to this story. It's also made its way down to my generational level. There's many cousins that continue this tradition, so I would like to share that with you today. And so it's a rather lengthy poem, and I have some thoughts afterwards. So here it goes. It happened one day at the year's wide end. Two neighbors called on an old-time friend. They found his shop so meager and mean, made gay with 1,000 boughs of green, and Conrad sitting with face ashine, when he suddenly stopped as he stitched a twine. He said, "Old friends, at dawn today, when the cock was crowing the night away, the Lord appeared in a dream to me and said, 'Coming, your guest I will be.' So I've been busy with feet astir, strewing my shop with branches of fir. The table is spread and the kettle is shined, and over the rafters the holly is twined. And now I will wait for my Lord to appear, and listen closely so I will hear his step as he nears my door. And I open the door and look upon his face." So his friends went home and left Conrad alone, for this was the happiest day he had ever known. For long since his family has passed away, and Conrad has spent a sad Christmas day. But he knew, with the Lord coming as his Christmas guest, this Christmas would be the dearest and the best. So he listened with only joy in his heart, and with every sound he would rise with a start and look for the Lord to be standing there in answer to his earnest prayer. So he ran to the window after hearing a sound, but all he saw on the snow-covered ground was a shabby beggar whose shoes were torn, and all of his clothes were ragged and worn. So Conrad was touched and went to the door. And he said, "Your feet must be frozen and sore. I have some shoes in my shop for you, and a coat that will keep you warmer too." So with a grateful heart, the man went away. But as Conrad noticed the time of day, he wondered what made the dear Lord so late, and how much longer he would have to wait, when he heard a knock and ran to the door. But it was only a stranger once more. A bent old crone with a shawl of black, with a bundle of sticks piled on her back. She asked only for a place to rest, but that was reserved for Conrad's great guest. But her voice seemed to plead, "Don't send me away. Let me rest a while on this Christmas day." So Conrad brewed her a steaming cup and told her to sit at the table and sup. But after she left, he was filled with dismay, for he saw that the hours were passing away, and the Lord had not come as he said he would. And Conrad felt that surely he had misunderstood, when out of the stillness he heard a cry, "Please help me and tell me, where am I?" So again he opened his friendly door and stood disappointed as twice before. It was only a child who had wandered away and was lost from her family on Christmas Day. Again, Conrad's heart was heavy and sad, but he knew he should make this little child glad. So he called her in and wiped her tears and quieted her childish fears. Then he led her back to her home once more. But as he entered his own darkened door, he knew. He knew the Lord was not coming that day, for the hours of Christmas had indeed passed away. So he went to his room, and he knelt down to pray. And he said, "Dear Lord, why did you delay? What kept you from coming to call on me? For so much I wanted your face to see." When, soft in the silence, a voice he heard, "Lift up your face, for I kept my word. 3 times my shadow crossed your door. 3 times I came to your lonely door. For I was the beggar with bruised, cold feet, and I was the woman you gave something to eat, and I was the child on the homeless street." Forgive my looking back at my cheat sheets constantly. I don't have the thing memorized. I'm so sorry. I'm ready for my next slide. There we go. So, Matthew 25, which is what this poem is based on, is one of my favorite all-time scriptures. It ranks up there in my top 5, truly, because it contains one of the most powerful parables, I think, located in our scriptures. And if you remember, Matthew 25 is the parable known as the sheep and the goats. And so it goes like this. The king would take all these people and separate them. They were sheep on the left hand and goats on the right. And to the sheep, he would say this: "When I was hungry, you gave me food. And when I was thirsty, you gave me drink. When I was a stranger, you welcomed me. When I was naked, you gave me clothing. When I was sick, you took care of me. And when I was in prison, you visited me." And then he looked to the ones on the right, the goats, and said, when I was hungry, I got no food from you. When I was thirsty, there was no drink that came from you. When I was a stranger, there was no welcoming. When I was naked, you did not clothe me. When I was sick, there was no care that came from you. And when I was in prison, there was not one visit from you. Both groups are stunned, shocked, and confused. Both groups said, "When did this happen?" And the powerful line at the end is, "I am the least and the last. I am the ones who need help. I'm the one that you're passing by." It's what I was talking about last night, truly, when I got up here last night and said, listen, it's hard work, but let's just be in the moment. The moment has passed. Following Jesus is hard, and it's time to strap on and let's get going. It takes us out of our comfort zone. It's supposed to take us out of our comfort zone. It's messy, and it's hard, and it's trying, but partnering with God, partnering with the Almighty to bring about peace, that is who we are, and it is who we are called to be. The rest of this, all of it, is noise, I promise you. The light of the world has indeed come. We've waited so long. We waited these 4 weeks, but really, we've been waiting for a lot longer than that. But we need to realize the light has indeed come, and it rests with every single person here. We come to this place to be reminded of that. And when we leave, we are the light. Thanks be to God. Amen.